Good evening. It's Saturday, the 1st of November. You're tuned in to our 6 p.m. newscast coming to you from ARIRANG's news centre in Seoul. It's very good to have you with us. I'm Mark Broome. Our top story this evening, some 200 days after that mid-April morning that will be forever etched into Korea's history, the nation's rival political parties have finally reached an agreement on 3 bills related to the sinking of the Sewol-ho ferry. Part of the deal will see the victims' families have more of a say in selecting who will participate in the investigation. Our Choi You-sun starts us off.
Ending more than 6 months of political wrangling, the country's main rival parties have agreed on a package of bills related to April's ferry disaster. The two sides' floor leadership, which at times were reported to have quarreled loudly during last-ditch negotiations Friday, agreed to put the 3 bills to a parliamentary vote on November 7th. As for the much-disputed probe into the ferry accident, the parties have partially accepted the victims' families' demand for a greater voice in selecting the investigators, allowing family representatives to suggest the head of the special probe committee.
To the families of the Sewol-ho ferry victims, both parties did their best, but we still feel sorry that there are still so many shortcomings.
And as the rival parties had previously agreed, the families will have power to veto candidates for a special prosecution carrying authority to indict. As for government restructuring to bolster the nation's safety management, a new safety ministry will be set up under the Prime Minister's office. But the opposition side accepted the ruling party's proposal to dissolve and reorganize both the Coast Guard and the National Emergency Management Agency under the new ministry, albeit each having autonomy over personnel appointments and the budget.
The ruling and opposition parties will do their best to join efforts in preventing a repeat of such a disaster and to make Korea a safe place to live.
The third bill, named after the ferry operator owner, would allow authorities to confiscate illegally obtained and inherited wealth. After 2 failed bipartisan deals and internal discord within the opposition party, the parliament may be finally on track to get to the bottom of holding those behind the ferry disaster accountable and addressing other bills that concern reviving the economy and improving the people's livelihoods. Choi You-sun, ARIRANG News.
Now, Korea's monthly export volume set an all-time record high in October on the back of strong ship and steel exports. The country also logged a record monthly trade surplus as imports fell last month. Our Song Ji-sun reports.
A strong start for the final quarter makes it almost certain that 2014 is going to be a record year for Korea in terms of trade. The Trade Ministry says the country's exports rose 2.5% from a year earlier to hit a record $51.8 billion in October. The trade surplus also logged an all-time monthly high of $7.5 billion as imports dropped 3%, coming in at $44.2 billion. Officials attribute the record monthly export figure to robust shipments to the United States as domestic demand in the U.S. picks up sharply ahead of Thanksgiving and massive sales events like Black Friday. Major export items like steel, ships, and semiconductors all logged strong growth. Exports of handsets, however, dropped 16% last month as competition intensified in emerging markets where local manufacturers are gaining ground and Apple's release of its latest iPhone 6 models. Although the slow economic recovery in Japan and the Eurozone remain as downside risks, the Trade Ministry says Korea is likely to surpass the $1 trillion trade mark by the end of November. Song Ji-sun, ARIRANG News.
North Korea will see no major changes or reforms under the leadership of Kim Jongun. That's the assessment of a senior North Korean expert in the United States. Speaking at a Korean Society event held in New York City on Friday local time, Sumi Terry, who is a research scholar at Columbia University and former analyst for the CIA, said North Korea will only change if it can break free from the 3-generation rule of the Kim regime or if the two Koreas reunite. On potential reunification scenarios, Terry said the most likely is North Korea being absorbed into the South following an internal conflict in the North, and she urged the international community to start preparing for such an eventuality. She said reunification of the Koreas would be more expensive than that of Germany's in the early 1990s, but the economic benefits of it would be much more than its cost. The American man who was recently released from North Korea has admitted for the first time that he left a Bible in a North Korean nightclub bathroom on purpose. Jeffrey Fowle was speaking to US networks about his experiences during his 5-month detention in the North when he made that admission. He said that he thought it was a risk worth taking, but with hindsight, he would not do it again and he wouldn't recommend anyone else doing it. Fowle was unexpectedly released by the North on October 22nd and was flown home on a US government jet. Now, talking about his time in prison, Fowle said he was treated quite well and given large portions of rice, vegetables, soup and meat every day. The 56-year-old, who is from Ohio, has got his old job back and goes back on Monday. One pilot has died and another has been seriously injured after a passenger spaceship belonging to space tourism venture Virgin Galactic crashed during a test flight in California. The company says the Spaceship 2 craft was flying a manned test when it experienced a, quote, serious anomaly and crashed into the Mojave Desert. The injured pilot, who ejected and parachuted to the ground, was airlifted to a nearby hospital. Now, an investigation into the cause of the crash is expected to take around a week or so. This incident is a massive setback for British billionaire Richard Branson's dream of sending tourists to the edge of space. In a blog post and tweet, Branson, who is currently en route to the scene of the accident, expressed his sadness but stressed his company would persevere with its very ambitious plans. Now, back here in Korea. And this country is home to a great many international residents from all over the world, and a large number of them are from Asian countries, and they're here to work in the nation's construction, manufacturing and farming sectors. And earlier today, an event was held to bring the various communities together and celebrate the growing diversity of Korea's labour market. Our Kim Jongun reports.
The number of foreign workers in Korea is on the rise. Recent government data shows their numbers swelled from roughly 750,000 in 2013 to almost 820,000 this year. Most of the workers from South and Southeast Asia are here because they can earn more money in Korea than they can in their home countries. They send large portions of their salaries back to their families. As a means of supporting the workers and encouraging greater integration, the Foreign Workers Harmony Festival was held on Saturday at an amusement park in Yongin, a city just south of Seoul. The festival, jointly hosted by ARIRANG TV and the Korea Federation of SMEs, runs under the slogan Beyond Amity to Harmony.
We hope this event brings greater harmony to Korea's hard-working foreign community. It's also our way of showing that we respect the work they do here.
There was plenty to do as well, from taekwondo demonstrations to foreign workers performing their country's signature dance and songs. It was an opportunity to learn about different cultures.
I've lived in Korea for more than 10 years. I know about Korea and I'm keen to show my country's culture. I'm happy to have the chance to enjoy the different cultural activities today.
One Korean lawmaker and a handful of foreign ambassadors were also supporting the event. One ambassador said he was happy to see the Korean government was making efforts to look after foreign workers.
I'm very happy to be here, especially this kind of program establishes harmony and solidarity among people of different countries who are working here. Especially, I want to insist that Korean government is doing a very good job.
The organizers say the festival acts as a bridge between Koreans and foreign workers by raising awareness and sharing the best of each other's cultures. Kim Jongun, ARIRANG News.
Now, finally, we're going to leave you with the weather, I believe. Are we? No, we're not. We're going to be leaving you with one more news story, because moving around a large city can be quite a challenge for even the most mobile of us. But for people with visual impairments, getting from one place to another is much more difficult and dangerous, in fact, as you can imagine. But now a new device created by researchers in India could help the visually impaired navigate the obstacles more safely. Our Son Jung-in has this report.
For the visually impaired, everyday activities like crossing the street can be a challenge. But those tasks may soon get safer and easier thanks to a newly developed device by the Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi.
It has added to the comfort level. It has added to the confidence level. It has added to my experience of walking on the road, commuting to my workplace, to my home, traveling to shopping malls, and all. I feel empowered while using it.
This electronic device called a smart cane sends out ultrasonic waves as the user walks. If it detects any obstacles within a 3-meter radius, it conveys the presence of the obstacles to the user through vibrations, which vary according to how far away the object is. The device can also spot objects above the knee, helping the user to avoid the kinds of upper body injuries suffered by many traditional cane users. What's even better is its affordable price of just $50, which is about 25 times less than the market price of a similar product launched in 2011. Users say it has helped them get around quicker than ever.
And my travel time has reduced by, say, 25%. Earlier, if I used to take 10 minutes to travel from one place to another, and now I covered that distance in 7.5 minutes.
If the smart cane is introduced here in Korea, it is expected to improve life for the more than 250,000 visually impaired people in the country. 손정인, 아리랑 뉴스.
Right, finally, definitely leaving you with the weather now. And it's been quite a warm and sunny late autumn day here in Seoul, but temperatures are going to drop several degrees tomorrow, so you've been warned. The daytime high in the capital will top out at just 14 degrees Celsius, and it won't feel that much warmer anywhere else in the country. And just an extra word of warning that the mercury is going to plunge into the single digits next week. Let's take a look at the weather conditions in your part of the world. And that's all we have for now. Do enjoy the rest of your Saturday wherever you're watching us, and stay tuned to ARIRANG TV. We'll be back again for our next newscast at 10 p.m. Korea time. Until then, goodbye.